Speedrun opening. Hey, everybody. Welcome again to Occultist Anonymous. Thanks for joining us. As always, we'd like to thank everybody explicitly, not just in general. Thank Roll20 for supporting us for so long. Thank Monty Cook Games for making the Cypher System, which we use to play Numenera Rising Helix, and our generous patrons, who are Adele, Ethernalis the Mad, Al, Alexander Williams, Alpha Wolf 2803, Alsrit, Bernie, Buck Gregory, Chris Hanforth, Doc, Emil, Ethan Cobb, George, I'm the Real 06, James Winfield, John Fitzgerald, Josh Drew, Camo, Cat Feathers, Klaus, Lacuna Matata, What a Wonderful Cave, Long Live the Queen, Melissa, Michael, Milo V3, Moku, Mozart D minor, Other Guy, Perry, Foog, Porter, Puppeteer, Riafio, Ryan, Sean Kelleher, Sheksara, Thomas Vogel, Toast, various vampires vying for vicious, vainglorious victory. Vincent Hamilton, Vortex Falcon 00, What's a Circle? Why Gender When You Can Serve the Iron Pyramid? And Sultan Kamini. Thanks, everybody. We're going to jump right back into the action. Oh my God, it was a cliffhanger because it found somebody in a tube and she said something and was talking about killing and why shouldn't you be killed and all the things. Anyone want to do a real quick recap? Or want to just jump right back in?
Oh, go for it.
Pretty much it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, sounds good. You're at the top of a platform. And there are a bunch of 15-foot tall Lattimors who just said to the person who you ostensibly were searching for that you are being evaluated for whether or not they're going to kill you. What do you do?
Under his breath, Blaze says whether or not they're going to try.
Did the person in the tube say anything?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She seemed asleep, unconscious, whatever it is, right, in her body or corporeal form. And there was a hologram that was projected above. And that's what engaged. Did not acknowledge you other than asking the Lattimore, who are these people? And they said, we are deciding whether or not to kill them or why not.
May we perhaps politely ask of you to inform us of the criteria with which we are being judged?
The hologram now focuses on you and then looks back to the Lattimore and says, you brought them into the beacon. What criteria did you imagine? Lattimore looked taken aback. And then they look at each other. And at this point, you all would be savvy to this. Vet, probably in particular, would assume that there's some type of telepathic communication. And then they say, they were present in the installation and offered assistance. I am not sure that they were sincere, despite appearance to that effect. The installations are precious. They also have knowledge of your kind.
Yeah, just sort of
and
gesture at them.
4 of them?
Yeah.
So yeah, Lattimore is saying all this and posturing, right? Hope engages you and then sees the other.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like the hologram freezes for a moment. But it isn't frozen because it's a hologram and it's not displaying as many emotions. So there a lack of emotion or emoting for a moment, and then who might be Hope, right? Turns to you all, and then back to the elves, and says, "Where did you come from?"
We came from across the whalefall.
And then, as you would imagine, says, "Only one has crossed Whalefall."
You?
Yes.
So that means no one else can? An act completed once can be completed again.
Hope says, "A fair point. What was your purpose for crossing Whalefall?"
On you.
If I can
Great
jump
idea.
in here as the guy who has skills in talking to people.
Go ahead. Drew.
First, can I spend a point of intellect to just see the future for the next 10 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna do that.
What would you like me to tell you?
Actually, it does not. It's not the asking a question thing. See the
Oh,
future
okay.
allows. It's my machine mind
Oh, that's right. Yes.
doing stuff. So
Anticipate.
I gain assets on like defense and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
recognizing
Precognition.
deceptions. But it also
Excellent.
gives me an asset to tasks involving interaction and deception.
Yeah, perfect.
Uh,
Precognition.
Yeah. And with that, so hopefully I can avoid stumbling over, you know, social faux pas as I
Jane
try and read a hologram. This will be fun. But yeah, Faye kind of steps up and says, "We came searching for hope on behalf of." Have we actually discovered a proper name for the elves?
No.
Okay.
We know the what's his name?
Lon?
Lon.
Oh, I meant like the group of them. But yes, actually, that's a good point.
Yeah, we're here looking for her for him.
Right. And basically, we found these people stuck in a cycle. Actually, you know what? That were stuck. And we have, over the past year, helped them progress forward, break the chains that have held them down. And now they have asked of us to search for you, or who you used to be 100 years ago? A century ago. We come searching for you because they do not merely desire you, though I imagine Lon greatly desires and misses you, but they need you as their symbol of hope and to bring forth and begin their cycle of future generations. It's like Faye is like, how do I politely say this?
You see Hope, the hologram, Hope. Does not interrupt you. Pauses. Looks back at the elves. Back at you. And asks, "Who is this Lon of whom you speak?"
Her memories haven't been restored.
The leader of these people who come as representatives seeking you, putting their lives at risk along with ours in order to cross Whalefall successfully to seek you out. Lon was, by our records and understanding, your partner.
Please make a difficulty 6. Of course, the assets you have available. Speaking. Of course, intellect. Considerable intellect edge.
Okay, so
See that.
one
You're
asset.
kind of cutting in and out, Ralph. You might have to.
What was that?
You're kind of cutting.
I'm cutting in and out.
You have to
Okay, I'll speak louder.
Speak a little bit
Thanks.
louder. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Telling me, Chris.
I'm limited at 4. Okay, cool. And 1 asset. All right. I'm supposed to be good at this.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Why don't I have roll 20?
I mean, yeah. If you make it a difficulty 0,
I
probably. don't
hadn't
do that.
actually done the math ahead of time yet. I was just like,
yeah? No, you
do all the
automatically succeeded
things.
Then. Okay, yeah. You don't have to roll unless you want to.
hadn't
Well, you
done
had to
the math.
spend the effort, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Indeed. But once you get it down there, you definitely
Mhm.
don't have to roll.
Yeah, but if you don't roll, you can't crit.
Exactly. Yep. It's up to you. You want to risk a 1, get a human intruder. See what happens when a hologram gets upset.
I played Chrono Trigger.
We know, considering the intro music To
For
OA
years.
so long. Yes, exactly. All right, fantastic. Okay, so Hope says, you seem to speak sincerely, yet I cannot ascertain the truth of words. Then the hologram says, ooh, says, are any of you skilled with the Numenera?
Yeah. Hello.
It says,
Blaze rolls his eyes and steps aside.
I will present a test skill, or not, a test of knowledge
Okay.
that will assure me that you have the capacity to aid these. And it says that about the Lattimore. Aid these, not them, these, with their task. And upon confirmation of that knowledge, I will have a subsequent question.
This one is happy to take the test.
The hologram nods and then says, proceed to, and then there's all of a sudden an illumination of a console on the upper tier that you're standing at, which is past Lattimore.
Mm-hmm. Reuven is just there.
Awesome. The Lattimore, we're looking at you.
Is there like
and
a
all of
bloop,
sudden-
or is it just like instant?
Yeah,
like
Oh,
you've
what is
always
it?
been
Yeah,
there?
so like there's always been sort of a pixely trail where you can
Mhm.
tell where it's gone. It is suddenly a lot less, well, a lot more trail, but a lot like it's a lot faster. Like
Awesome. Okay.
Reuven is zooming now.
This is what happens. Remember that Lattimore that was exuberant and wanted to talk about the Wraith with you
Mm-hmm.
and got grabbed by the neck of the
Mhm.
leader Lattimore? Lattimore? Not like
The
Animorph.
leader more.
Yeah, the Lattimore.
Right, Homer Simpson, Bart Simpson style.
Yes, exactly. So you zoom past the Lattimore. You're already there. They were looking at you. You're suddenly gone. The first person to notice is that particular exuberant more, and quickly moves out of the grasp of the leader away and says, "Whoa!"
I love them.
Precognitively, like, I'm about to get smacked for this comment.
Yeah.
Sidestep.
I'm glad you like the trick.
Oh, we
Lattimore's
got to go
nodding.
back to visit the Jacks.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. You have to go back to Jack's Haven. Great. All right.
What is the task?
The task is sorting old knowledge across time. It is stuff that has happened over the past 1,000.
Okay.
Stuff that you haven't seen. However, because you are an experienced nano, you have explored the process of technological development in various civilizations. Gone. So some of that is so. There is a result whether you succeed or fail at this. And both are interesting.
Okay.
So that's why I'm proposing that you make a roll for this. It's difficulty
great.
6. There's a good chance that you succeed in this, and I'll let you know what happens. It will affect the question that she asks.
I have rolled a 9 to beat a 6.
Fantastic. Rolling 9s. Great. Roll 9 today instead of roll 2. Love it. All right, so this is what happens. You sort these things and you realize you had been told or learned that there were these translocation events that happened every. It seems that, and you also learned that tronic amber is scarce.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about the like a suit of the convergence. You all learned about.
Mm-hmm.
What you also are able to line up and being able to put these things together in technological development is there's a process of what seems like rapid technological development among remnants of the convergence, and then there's not a reprisal but a persecution of That's so the elves left like 800 years ago, something like that ago, right? Can't remember exactly what date I said when they left to form
Sure.
that colony. There have been repeated reprisals, persecutions of the conversion across this millennium. Also, there's been a rise and fall in the availability and price of it. Has
Okay.
actually not become scarce the whole time. It's scarce right now, but it's become more readily available in certain like veins or mines areas with it found, and then people use it, and then it gets really scarce. It's outlawed in certain places, and all these things seem coincidental. Every
Mm.
200 years, thereabouts, there's some convergence who does they succeed in some advanced technology. Doesn't seem really violent in this particular case, right? But that's the information you get from this like uh timeline she's basically getting you to assemble. Something happens to the convergence after they've learned something, some new technology. The technology is taken. Nobody talks about it anymore. The members of the convergence are exterminated. Tronic amber becomes incredibly scarce and expensive. And then there's a translocation.
Interesting.
So you do that, and there's a green symbol that comes on the console. Hope says, "You have answered my question satisfactorily," or says, "You have passed the test of my test of knowledge,"
Sure.
and says, "I will now pose to you all a question. What is your allegiance and experience with the convergence?"
I have none.
Noted.
I have none.
Noted.
Can I detect traps?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out like what the right answer here is.
Of course, you have an asset to this because you activated your precognition for
Mhm.
10 minutes,
Mhm.
and it didn't take Reuven 10 minutes to do that. Reuven's
Thanks.
like, I don't know what these
Data of
things
the
are, but
console,
I know
right?
how this works. Yes,
Then
exactly.
you're just
It's like,
flying and
I
data's
got
flying all over.
this.
Um,
And I'm not trying to narrate what Reuven did, right? But it would not surprise me if Reuven went up. I have no idea what this is. I don't oh, I know it. And then did
Yeah, it's just like
something.
okay.
Yep. Yeah.
um, what kind of role would this be then?
This would be
'Cause I'm wondering if it would
uh
fall under persuading on the
hmm,
the interaction side of it, right?
depends on what you want to do. What is your goal? Is your goal to evaluate whether or not it is going to be a bad idea to declare your allegiance to the convergence, or do you want to, in anticipation of it being possibly a problem, to state your past allegiance in a way that does not seem upsetting?
Because he wants to be truthful and kind of lean into the like, not a huge fan of them. Because I mean, if she has some scan or something, can tell because technically his body is full of convergence tech.
Yep.
Um,
You
And you
also
haven't seen all the tech in here. Sorry, go
you
ahead.
also know that or have discovered that like in interaction with these folks that they were refugees from prosecution and like they were like that there were like very obviously like different cells or different groups of the convergence.
mhm.
That's right.
And like I don't think it's a hard thing. It might be emotionally hard to separate the like your past trauma and stuff like that, but it's not logically hard to separate like I have some issues, but that was one specific group of convergence and
Right.
overall.
Mhm. Specifically because if she is pro convergence, he doesn't want to like badmouth them, is what he's trying to.
Sure.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. Say, this will be an intellect task either way.
Mhm.
If you have skills that you think could help you avoid a social faux pas, which I think
Mhm.
is what you meant about a trap, right?
Mhm.
Then they would apply. So
That's
even
what I
though
was
it isn't
wondering about
specifically,
persuading.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, yes. So I think depending upon how you say it, uh, the skill and persuasion could help. Uh, and let's tentatively count it. Seems borderline. Then we'll discuss narrative outcome. That is soul.
Sorry,
Just
say
like
that last part again.
sure. Sorry. What I said is I'll have you count any skills or assets in persuading specifically here. And if it turns out that the only reason you succeeded was because of stuff related to persuasion, like say you're right, you hit it exactly target, then we can discuss what the narrative consequences.
I dig it. And what is the difficulty?
6.
Just make sure.
Yep, of course. About that. Your gravy, baby.
I got 29 hit points. I'm gonna fucking use them.
Oh yeah, that's right. Got to do it.
Yep.
All right. So no, it did not matter.
Yeah, so for him, it's, I had 4 interactions with Convergence previously. I do not care for them in general, but I know that there is a connection to the Convergence with these refugees, and I hold them no ill will.
Noted. And the hologram turns to blaze.
I have no direct contact with the Convergence.
Noted. Then, Hope turns to the Lattimore, the leader Lattimore. The leader
more.
says,
Yeah.
Do you have any remaining objection to these individuals remaining within the beacon? Lattimore looks at you and then looks at the rest of the Lattimore, and they all seem closer to the exuberant Lattimore now, almost like the leader isolated, especially after this display. And it was what Reuben did was incredibly impressive for a number of reasons that we role playing wise for the Lattimore. But yeah, it seems like the Lattimore swallows their objection and says none.
Cool.
And Hope says, formally, I welcome you to the beacon. Let us discuss the significance of this.
Significance of
This installation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I realized at first that wasn't in character, and that's why I was like, "Oh, speak more clearly."
Yeah. I mean, obviously, this is something.
Yeah. And you have no memory of our associates here?
The hologram doesn't inhale. I inhaled.
Hey, me too, brother.
Hope says, I retain scant memories of my time in a functional body.
Mhm.
Is your body no longer functional?
After crossing Whalefall, I surrendered to nigh eternal sleep.
We have discovered the way to restore normal sleep to your people.
And let me add that we are experienced travelers.
Now that hologram squints, and this is the first time you've seen that, other than the nod, right? A
Mhm.
real mannerism, gesticulation, or anything like that. And the Hope says, I hope you do not use that term lightly.
We do
Not
not.
at all.
Very well.
No, we're tier 5 now. We legit.
Yeah, super hard. Y'all are great.
What else would
Already creating more legends.
you say to her? Do you know the story of the Jack who climbed the beam of light to the heavens?
I do.
I helped.
Hologram pauses and says, such individuals would have died
You
And no one-
underestimate our power.
And no one can survive crossing the whale-fall. Yet here we are.
Damn,
All of
got him.
us.
Yeah, that's a big
Looks
got
at
him.
Blaze and says, "You are a peevish interlocutor."
Yes.
Correct.
It's a compliment, Blaze. It's
Reuven
okay.
comes down from the platform
Yeah,
and like does the like tap someone on the opposite shoulder and then like not be where they're expecting.
yes.
But like while they're running to
Mhm.
the young and exuberant Lattimore.
Oh, awesome!
And then like stops and then waves back at him.
This Lattimore does a lot of human expressions, right? This Lattimore pumps fist and then grabs another Lattimore and says, "I told you, I told you."
So Blair's looking confused, and then when Faye says it's a compliment, it just sort of nods and accepts it. Has no idea what it means.
It would have been I don't know if we discussed this, whether like we'd be able to have brought fruit with us, the geode fruit, or whether it will like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you would have been able to bring an unripe one with the expectation that it would ripen and
Okay. I didn't know if they like could ripen off the
Oh,
tree or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they can. Yeah,
Okay.
because
So we didn't
you
discuss that,
saw
but it
some that
definitely
were-
would have been something that Reuven would have thought of and planned for this, right? Like
Yeah.
if we find her, it's
Absolutely.
likely that we need to like gigadose her with this just to even like be able to then get her back.
If you hadn't thought of that, I would have given you a roll to
Yeah.
find a means to
Right.
fix that, because you found the seeds
Mm-hmm.
that were there,
Oh, right.
and there would have been a means to do something with that. So I'm glad that you brought it up there. And yeah, it makes complete sense.
So Reuven will like pull it out of their rucksack. But like we do have, I don't know if you remember eating these for some ability to sleep, but if your functional body could be semi-restored with a true sleep for a while, and then we could return you to your people if you wish.
Hope says, "That is a vague specter of a past life to me. Yet, if you can nourish my body to the point that I can be restored, I would accept it, and I would offer something in return."
Very well. Would you departing this, and like looks around impressed again, like would you departing this have a negative effect on this installation?
Yes,
See.
the functioning of this installation is dependent upon an active mind engaged with its processes.
And it does what?
And then Hope pauses and then realizes, wait a minute. I don't even know what this is. Because then Hope says, I had assumed you came here as your with the intent of using it.
We came here for you.
The beacon monitors ideal places for translocations.
Ideal in what way?
It tracks places where translocations will have the greatest energetic efficiency for the next 5,000 years.
Like let's say this sort of translocation that could send For experienced travelers several thousand years into the future.
Such a translation. There is
Could-
Or-
history. Wait, and then
Go ahead.
Hope says,
And the reverse.
Hope first says, I now recognize such an entry. 1,000 years stops and squints again.
Serio's convergence. Conjunction.
The hologram nods again slowly. And then says, to undo such a thing, one would need at least an amount of power equal to what caused it in the first place.
Damn.
There are only two places capable of providing that power.
Okay.
Didn't we basically consume a mesa of
It wasn't
kind of
that
yeah.
big. It was large, but it wasn't a
We don't know how deep
mesa.
it was.
Yeah, we don't know how deep it was.
And Hope says, the translocation that caused the jack to rise or climb the beanstalk of light consumed what Zach says. Caused devastation on the opposite side of the
Here.
We suspected as much. Or I suspected as much anyway.
and then says, Hope turns to the Lattimors and says, have you told them of the purpose of the monolith?
They've been
And
very
you see them,
tight-lipped.
Grit their teeth. Say,
Joke.
no. Do now. And the Lattimores say, the monoliths are a network for harnessing the power of tronic amber, amplifying its. They were built to perform a translocation in this place and were abandoned when it was perceived that they would lead to local destruction rather than destruction on the opposite.
But if we go back in time, we can prevent all this from happening.
And Hope said, it has already happened. It cannot be undone.
There's a couple theories about that, but
Yes, please. I'm here for it. Oh yeah, I'm not trying to talk over you all or
Yeah.
no, you're
take up
good. You're
too much
good.
space in the role play.
I mean, this all just kind of confirms Blaze's theory that our translocation prompted the end of the last world.
It wasn't
It
that
did something.
bad.
Is it possible to reverse our translocation?
Looks at you and says, it is theoretically possible.
It would just cause massive devastation somewhere.
It is likely to cause massive devastation somewhere. It would need careful skill. And then Hope pauses and says, I detect that there will likely be an attempt in an area that would work for you. You may engage a competitor if you intend to do this.
What kind of competitor?
That information I cannot share.
A competitor to who?
To your interest in harnessing inf- in harnessing the energetic resources required to undo your original location.
Good question. You say this facility needs a mind to guide it,
Yes.
but you haven't always been here. Who was here before you?
No one.
Needs a mind to function, but remove the mind and it just shuts down.
This facility was inert before I arrived. Or, no, not before I arrived. Hope says, this facility was inert before these placed me within the pod. It was last active 600 years ago.
So you say the Lattimore found you and placed you here, and have you had a chance or opportunity to leave?
No.
My impression is they did this without your consent.
I had already surrendered to the nigh eternal sleep. One
That
cannot give consent when one is effectively dead.
you
I'm
are no
liking these
longer,
Lattimores less and less.
yeah, you are no longer almost dead. Do you want to remain here?
Hope says, as I suggested, the life I allegedly had before is unknown to me. Retain no memories of that life. None I can access.
I can help you access them.
How? And then the hologram pauses and says,
Um,
like with an open mouth, right? Like another of these interjections of human or elven emotion.
for all of the people across the whalefall, I looked into their minds and journeyed with them through what was hidden there. We uncovered bits and pieces enough to piece together a past. With time, we could have recovered all, but we did not have that much time.
How much time do you have?
When is this next conjunction?
The or you could say translate.
Yeah.
Um so Hope pauses and says, there will be another this is what Hope says. There will be a stellar conjunction of sufficient significance in 3 years.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Hope, would it matter to you at all if I told you that you have a partner back with your people who misses you terribly?
It does not matter to me
There's no
because I
emotional
retain no
connection.
memory of that. Spoke over you. Go ahead.
Ruben's going to walk over toward the Lattimore and from what we have seen, of the valleys on the other side of the Whalefall, there is significantly less danger. If your family, tribe, I know not how you refer to yourself, but if your group would like, I could help to relocate you past the Whalefall and out of the reach of the Black Wraiths.
Wraiths.
Lattimore looks down at you, and you see what looks like suspicious tension, and then the exuberant one comes over from the group of the others, elbows them in the side, and you get the impression, for those of you familiar with Werewolf the Apocalypse and things like that, that exuberant one's kind of like a ragabash. Um, and so then that Lattimore seems to drop the tension, and then it's like, okay, I can't, gonna work. Um, and so the leader more says, "What do you request in exchange?" But it isn't hostile.
That you work in synergy with the elves.
You like shout over my shoulder.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
But that essentially was going to be my suggestion, is that as these people are restored to their biological completeness, I think it would help to have allies, and seemingly for you as well. Not in an implication of weakness or need, but in a it's nice to have good neighbors.
Together you can build a stronger society than either of you would alone.
Before we get to that, I would just like to know, do the Lattimores have any knowledge of your history? Why would you or your ancestors find an unconscious person and stick them in this facility?
We did not want her to die.
And putting her saved her life.
She would have
Question.
perished.
Certainly.
So it doesn't matter to you whether this facility runs or not, necessarily.
Lattimore shrugs and says, "Our goal was not to restore function to this facility, to save a life."
As I said,
Noble and honorable.
more or less freely given option. I have the ability to travel to places I have been before.
How?
They're fast.
Magic,
Experienced travelers.
experienced traveling. I've
no.
experienced traveling to this place before.
The end
Exuberant
all.
Lattimore whoops. Experienced travelers.
I mean, the easy answer. It's on the cover of the book. Numenera.
That's right. So the leader more says, "I would gratefully accept it.
Very well.
I will accept this offer with gratitude." And then also turns to Vet and says, "Your means of restoring memories, is that through," and then uses the word telepathy. "Is that through the use of telepathy?"
Yes, and a little bit more. It's sort of a tangential psychic ability. It's an
Gotcha.
ability to go into the mind rather than just communicate.
We have the capacity for probing into depths. Perhaps you might teach us so that we might aid you.
I can do that.
Hive mind strong.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, exactly.
Lattimore together strong.
Yes, exactly.
Perry did point it in apes and elves strong together in chat.
Yes.
I don't have chat up today. I'm sorry.
I
But
love
yeah,
it.
I mean, with their help, we can probably get all of Hope's memories back.
You can. Hope will probably be the only elf or the first elf to have all of their memories. And when they say that, Vet would realize that with the number of minds, considering Vet, knew this already, that, oh, I don't have enough time. If only I had help before when,
Mhm.
you asked that, Ash, and Vet asked that, right? These are now enough people that if Vet trained them, they could be present.
Yeah.
For all the members.
I kind of wish I had the there's a trick of the trade that is teach trick.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a 6-tier
Yeah.
ability. I can't get it yet.
So good.
Okay. Well, that kind of satisfies Reuven's other thing. I was like, he didn't want to just up and abandon these people
Oh
and
no,
leave them on this
it's a 5th-tier ability. I can have it and just do this.
Yes.
I'll take
So,
that instead of the stun. Yeah.
Sick.
Chris, real quick. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, seemingly I don't know if there's other tribes of Lattimores that are also sort of traveling around or whatever, but this seems to be one sort of family group, tribe group, whatever, and so offering to allow them to escape this sort of terrible area of the world.
Yeah,
seemed
pretty
good.
bad.
That was kind of the only thing kind of nagging him as we were discussing, like, oh yeah, we'll just take you with us and bye.
Yeah, just that you don't want to leave anyone here
Right.
in Wraithland.
Unless they want to.
Yes.
Some of them might be like Blaze.
Yeah, that's kind of how I phrased it, right? I was leaving open for
Yeah.
if this is something you would want.
Yeah, that's right.
But I don't know if you're particularly attached to this land or anything, so.
Does have statues like them, so yeah, that's fair.
Right.
What they say is, after you elaborate more,
Yeah.
they say, we are the last caretakers. All others have fallen to the wraith.
Fair.
And then Reuven remembers something that was listed in the timeline that Reuven just briefly passed over in the course of answering the question. Assuming that Reuven didn't sit there for 10 minutes when trying to satisfy that there were many more Lattimore. And once there was a translocation event that happened, led to creatures. There were Lattimore who lived in the mine. Things changed. And all of a sudden, there were these crazy and weird predators from some strange place that lived in this, and they came out.
Great. You cut out on that last bit.
Oh, they started murdering people all over the place.
Fair. Okay, cool. Well, let's get everybody the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So I guess we have to make this woman sleep first.
Yeah. This ain't Chuck E. Cheese.
No. We are not at the Sewer Rat Gel Casino.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, bingo. All right, cool. So, how do you want to approach this? What is your plan to try?
I mean, run some diagnostics or whatever, or any sort of thing on that. If we can just crack open this pallet and stuff some stuff in her mouth or whatever, but
yeah. So, this is something you're definitely going to be able to do, but you please choose how much time you want to allocate to it, and that'll determine whether or not you roll. So, if you're eager to get out and get back, right, quickly, because you also need time to restore her memories. However, not all the surface ones will not nearly as. you're definitely like the first thing you're going to be able to get her to remember
mean,
Vaughn.
Most of the
Go ahead.
like healing of her can happen there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Because all she said was qualifying for her to come along with us was to make her sleep.
Yes, that's right.
So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna make her sleep, and then I'm gonna start teleporting people.
Oh, cool. All right, that sounds good. Awesome. Fantastic. All right. Cool. Yeah, so if you're taking your time, it would only take you a week to amplify the strength of what's contained in the geode to restore someone from what is effectively like the end state condition
Mm-hmm.
because she hasn't consumed in
Right.
a lot.
Right.
However, you could probably do it quicker if you wanted to. It just would be more challenging. Within a week, if you were careful.
Yeah, I mean, I think it like being careful and all that would be the priority, and then
Cool.
like essentially even like that first, like once we have a plan, I can take the first batch of elves back.
Cool. And then are you going to be resource limited in terms of intellect points? How often you can teleport?
Somewhat. It
Curious how often you
takes
could do it in a day based on pools available.
based on recovery and stuff too. I could do it more. So I've got 22 intellect. It costs 6, and then an extra effort gives me 3 extra people.
3 extra.
Um,
6 base, including you, right? And then
right.
3 people per effort. 4 for 9.
So my first effort is free.
Okay, cool. Right. 6. 4
So
people.
8 points is me plus 6 people.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I could
22.
even with just one recovery action, I could do that 3 times.
Oh,
I have
great.
to come back, but
Yeah.
I could easily take 2 like rather effortful like trips a day.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay.
Plus or minus, like if Lattimore count as more than one person because they're big.
Yeah. I think
but
it's going
like,
to take effort
I mean-
per Lattimore.
Yeah, that's fine. So I mean, we can math it out that basically like in the week it takes to do this to heal her up, I can more or less get everybody
Great.
there.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense to me. That's what I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
That would if it took longer, that might influence something in the narrative.
Yeah. Well, because I can do it, if we just average recovery that within, a little over an hour of rest a day, which is not hard because it's an instant ability. That's an extra 9 times 3, 27 points to burn through. So like, yeah,
59.
easily can do a lot of effort and extra travel and stuff like that. So
Fantastic.
so yeah, just I guess we'll just call it like over the course of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Working on traveling everyone. Does anyone want to like be back at elf camp arranging things?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Before you leave, is there anything you want to do at the beacon? There's a lot of complex technology. There's the opportunity to harvest artifacts, learn things. This is a treasure trove of really interesting
That's very
advanced
true.
technology.
It may end up being that Faye goes on the first trip, arranges some stuff, gets some stuff planned out, has to upsize those houses that he made. They're terrific, but now I have to triple their size, which also the structural integrity is going to change. This is a whole afternoon.
A lot.
And also, if you need to come back,
Right.
I have a free effort,
Yeah.
so I can take a tag along
Ooh, great. Perfect.
to come back. I just don't want to like take you a bunch of times because that's more like travel slots.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So Riven's a fucking airplane for a week.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
What does teleportation look
I was
like for
just
Ruben?
about to say that. I think it is a long-term like digitized jaunt.
Ooh, cool.
in very much in like a sort of plane arc travel, like
Yeah.
back to somewhere. So it's a
Little sparklies.
yeah.
I'm just picturing the little like square pixels
Yes.
on the map.
Mhm.
I love it.
Traveling by map.
Oh yes.
I think it's
if you
it's an instantaneous ability, but I like the idea of it like you have time to process seeing things
yes, yeah,
while it's going on too.
I like that. It's
Um,
subjectively not instantaneous.
yeah,
It is objectively instantaneous, but not subjectively.
right.
You experience the travel. It's not, like in real time, but you have the retention of having gone through that. That's cool. I like that a lot.
Transluminal time dilation.
Yes,
There you go, yeah.
exactly.
For all intents and purposes, this is instantaneous. Your mind, however, enjoys a 3-hour flight with an in-flight
Mhm.
movie.
I'll also point out that if either Reuven or Faye were to engage the consoles looking for more information, they would find records that Blaze might want to know about.
Hmm.
Good. Collect these
And-
things up and not give them to Blaze.
Yeah, that's fine. If you want, I won't say anything about it right now. You let me know when you want to bring this up.
I'll have to figure out exactly what is in these records.
I mean, if you want me to tell you, I will. Or you can wait, and then Craig will be in suspense. It's up to
That's
you.
true. But yeah, we'll leave Craig in suspense and
Cool.
all our viewers at home.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Take a
All right, it's time for a
Push 'em
break,
ads.
everybody. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.